Is there any method that enables me to focus my attention and yield the most results? Is there a way whereby if I do it, then the breakthrough will surely come? We really experienced this firsthand. There came a particular point in time at a memorial service on our way to that farewell event. Pastor Lily just happened to ride with us. At the end of that memorial service, Pastor Lily suddenly gave us an order and said, you all should perhaps organize a small group in your office. We just responded with, okay, sure. Although we didn't know what was a small group, we figured that since Pastor Lily had suggested so, we should just do it. In our direct sales industry, Xiaofeng is just like our team leader. So when she started getting more involved in church, then she started having a small group in our workplace. In the beginning, I felt okay with that because I thought our work environment encouraged people to work with their hands in some of our activities.
But when they were operating the small group, I was also watching them. Because Xiaofeng is my leader, our rapport and the relationship between us is already there. I believe that my leader would not do something real baffling without a sound reason. After having a small group, my perspective was still the same as before. We adhere to the regional norm in our direct sales marketing. That is, not to mix up with religion and any other stuff. But of course, during that process, we got into disagreements and fights. We were perplexed by why she behaved so peculiar in having a small group in our office.
I began wondering, why did you want the small group to keep growing? Then I watched how most of our team members all joined the small group. I even thought to myself, if someone wants to hold a gathering for Buddhists, would that be equally okay? I started having these thoughts, so I began thinking, I have no idea what the heck was my leader Xiaofeng doing.
Therefore, back then, on one occasion, when a small group was going on in our office, I even mentioned to my present team member, Xiaofeng, look, is it all right to not even let the small group be held in our office? That is, I don't even want to hear about the sound from the small group.
I've been formally informed to not bring religion into our workplace, but what I know is sharing the gospel is what I desire and yearn for. And I know how powerful this prayer altar really is, that the prayer altar can truly impact the marketplace. So I did not engage in any direct confrontation. Every time I reply, okay, I hear you, I explain why we have the prayer altar via a small group gathering. I think our praying about these issues continuously was the reason behind the breakthrough. Causing a genuine breakthrough was our prayer altar. As I watched on the side, I saw that many of our team members, after having participated in the small group, they come out and gradually they turn out to be what I consider as being more normal now. Frankly, I didn't consider many of them to be quite normal before. I didn't know what was previously on their mind, but after they joined the small group, seems like they have undergone much needed adjustments when they're out. No matter where we are, even right now at work, they started to understand how to converse with others. In direct sales marketing, communication is so very important. Starting to understand what messages others are conveying, beginning to communicate effectively, started working on overcoming their weaknesses. So I couldn't help but become very curious with this small group.
At that moment, when I saw how these brothers have changed, I thought, wow. Before, no matter what I said while coaching them, I just couldn't seem to get through to them. I wondered just what kind of God this is. One day, Sister Xiaofeng just said, we have a small group gathering. You like to join us? I think sometimes entering into the family of God is so simple. She simply asked, you want to come in? I said, okay. So into the small group I went.
In April 2014, I was baptized as a Catholic, so I haven't known Catholicism that long. When Sister Xiaofeng has the small group here, I held a belief that I am a Catholic, so I didn't want to join a Christian small group because of my belief mindset. So I superficially accepted Christians as equal to Catholics, but my heart did not accept them. Therefore, I never participated in the small group, even though the small group is so much on fire. Also, I felt that I am a Catholic, so I just refused to join them. I also did not read the Bible. Then when my team leader Hero invited me and said, Yishan, I'm thinking, do you want to join the small group? That invitation, I responded, well, all right. Since my team leader Hero was the one inviting me, I figured that being obedient to my team leader is the right thing to do. So I went to the small group. Then after I joined the small group, actually I felt my life was touched continuously by God. My life and heart were moved, including my relationship with family members. It's also improved. Looking back at when I decided to be baptized as a Christian, I'm astonished myself. I still recall it was like the first time when I went to speak to my small group leader. Actually, I was stunned by my wanting to be baptized because I got baptized, I would become a Christian. In the past, I've read the biographies of successful people, but oftentimes from those books, I still couldn't see where exactly we're heading, but I would just keep moving forward. I didn't even realize that I've run into a wall.
Speaking from the perspective of where I'm at, extracurricular readings are a waste of time because after having read for so much and so long, I felt like going around in a circle. I discovered that the Bible is still the benchmark. Of course, we started having a Bible reading group since we now have this time available. While we all participated in the morning prayers, but Bible reading is the first thing we do after we get into the office as a first fruit offering.
I feel that our Bible reading in the morning is actually meant for our office and for our direct sales marketing industry, now that our identity includes that of priests serving God at the prayer altar.
So once we arrive at the office, before we carry out any work, we focus on aligning ourselves with God by reading His Bible. Of course, since I have the authority as a leader, I started inviting my other team members to join in.
As we read 5 chapters of the Bible each day, God would often use the verses from 5 chapters of that day to remind us about the correct direction for that day.
After we finished reading each day, we would share our revelatory insights from verses that touched us.
I would set aside my role as their team leader, the leadership role, during our time for Bible reading. I'm just one of them, being a child of God. Only at those times do we really feel that we have a heart of one accord. Only then could I feel what it meant to have a heart of Christ, which is really able to feel and empathize with their situations and challenges. So in the beginning, we only had Bible reading, then we tried to use God's Word to continually teach and exhort our team members. Later, my husband Hero and I engaged in extensive discussions, essentially conflicts and arguments. Eventually, we began to adjust as we felt less of a need to teach and exhort them with the words of God. They were acquiring more insights directly from the Bible. We then started including the worship songs, which I thought would be helpful to all.
I discovered that after a while, each member's relationship with God was progressing at their own pace, as they are also more closely connected with God. Therefore, after we finish our morning prayer and Bible reading, we go directly into our business discussion. I felt that God has helped each of them to get unstuck from their own problems. Initially, we needed to say a lot to coach and train them. Now they know they need to be accountable to God. In fact, there's a lot of things which we don't need to say anymore. God is clearly working in their lives. My wife and I have set aside our own Bible reading time. We still read 10 chapters of Bible a day, but we still participate in the morning reading of 5 chapters with our team members. So we end up reading at least 15 chapters of Bible each day. Sometimes it's not easy to do it alone. It's easy for an individual to get lost. It's also easy for an individual to get misled. But when everyone is united as a group, then the resulting fire from the group is burning ablaze.
It's as if we all had a candle, but no one had lit it before to stoke the fire. But when our leaders was doing this, they themselves were lighting the fire, causing that fire to burn ablaze and aglow. Each one of us is like a piece of firewood being added to the mix to stoke the fire.
It's like a torch was burning really bright, and if one person becomes exhausted, another person can fill in the spot. The Lord has called each one of us and has blessed us with grace and different giftings. So when we're gathered here together, we learn to share and exchange with each other using the grace He has blessed us with. We then discover in the process that our God is so amazingly great as our God. So the power that's generated when the team member comes together, I don't think it's a matter of 1 + 1. It's more like an increase to an exponential power of X, which continues to multiply.
Actually, we didn't have many methods or strategies about sharing the gospel. Nor did we keep communicating or explaining about the prayer altar. I felt these are methods of bringing others to Christ. All we really did were, 1, Bible reading, 2, prayers, and 3, building the prayer altar. Those were really the only 3 things we did. And it's from these 3 things alone, Bible reading, prayers, building the prayer altar, just approach those 3 things with a simple, pure heart. Just proceed obediently and steadfastly. Breakthroughs would just come naturally. We also pay very close attention to our individual relationship with God. So when my team members sometimes ask me questions, I would say, let's look at the Bible. I try my utmost to find the answers, believing the Bible must have the answer to those questions. But if I have 100 team members, each bring a question to me, I would personally be unable to solve them all. But it would work if we all learn to align our lives with the Bible. I believe the Bible already has the answers. Wouldn't that make everything a lot easier? So what I discovered were, one, the Bible really has the answers. Two, if we're able to help these many people and everyone could discover that the Bible is the solution to resolving their problems, or if everyone desires breakthroughs and everyone is willing to build their own prayer altar, including group prayer altar, then breakthrough and results will come. Isn't this what we want? Really, all we want is the actual results, and we yield these results from Bible reading, prayer, building our prayer altars.